moment. Everything has happened perfectly to lead up to right now, to this moment where you're alive and your heart is beating for you and your breath is working for you. All of these things are working for you, but we sit and we look at all of these things from our past that have led us to this moment and we criticize it. We look in the mirror and we criticize our outer shell of being, when at the end of the day that's not what matters. My point is that we are all divine creations. We are all like mountains and we are all like the ocean, and we would never look at dolphins or we would never look at lions and say, but that isn't right. We would never admire anything in nature with criticism. So why do we do that within ourselves and our life, like occurrences? Why do we get so angry and at what's happened in our life? And why do we get so critical of ourselves and of other people? And I'm sitting here painting this, and I remember, I think this was in my either elementary or middle school art class, my teacher told us that there are no mistakes in art because you can transform those mistakes into beautiful, amazing things that are better than what you originally sought to create. One thing falls apart so better things can fall together. And it's true in art. One thing that might be viewed as a mistake by most people is what transforms the art into the final piece, which is just beauty and creation and divine. And your mistakes have led you to the final point of satisfaction, I guess you could say. Through art and through things that have happened in my past, I've learned that everything happens for a reason. I think my entire life I have believed that everything happens for a reason. In one way or another, at some points in my life I've believed that more heavily, and at other times in my life I didn't believe that much. But I just remember I was so angry a few years ago because if I couldn't control something, then all hell would break loose inside of me. And I kind of realized through occurrences in my life, like big occurrences that I couldn't control. That's when I sort of just like slowly started holding on to control. I think a big thing was my first heartbreak. I was absolutely devastated. I was like, 17? Yeah, 17. And I was with this guy for a year and a half, and I invested so much of my love and so much of my time and so much of my energy into this, and after we broke up, I'd like just tried so hard to like find closure. I tried so hard to fix it. I tried so hard to control it. It was like I didn't understand, and I was so upset. Every single day I realized that this was happening for a reason, and I didn't just let it be. I wanted to have some sort of grasp on this because I literally cared so much about it, and I had no idea as to why like this would be taken away from me, and I wanted it back, and I wanted that control back. But over time, after trying time and time again to get this control, I realized that it is out of my control. And that's when I began to just accept it. And that's when I began to take steps to move forward and to move on in my life. And that's when I started finding who I really was. I mean, I had a fairly decent grasp of who I was for being a 15-year-old girl. But after I went through heartbreak and I was going through heartbreak, I began to once I stopped trying to control what had already been done, I began to put time into myself and my art and my knowledge about the world. I really just began to invest the love and the time that I used to invest in that relationship into other things. And oh my God, that has led me on the most beautiful path, like the most, it's like hard to find words almost. Basically heartbreak has led me on this grand transformation of finding myself and falling in love with myself. And I think that's the most important thing, is being in love with who you are and accepting who you are and accepting your life. And it can be really hard sometimes to accept your life and what has happened, because sometimes what has happened is a very hard pill to swallow, like heartbreak or somebody in your life passing away. My brother passed away when I was 15. I'm now 18. And I knew in the back of my mind that everything happened for a reason. But obviously I was very clouded by grief. In the first year especially, and then once I broke up with my boyfriend at the time, the grief almost got worse. When that security of the relationship is kind of taken away from you, you're kind of just left on your own to grieve and to go through these things and to hold the pain that that person used to carry for you, in a sense. So I guess I learned how much power I really do have through heartbreak. I learned that everything happens for a reason. Even death happens for a reason. Since 3 years since my brother's passed, and I've seen things fall into place after his death that would have never fallen into place if he were still here. Or I don't think they would have fallen into place if they were still here. And they're good things that have fallen into place. And the thing about death in Western society especially is that we think that that person's gone forever, and it's not true. Their body is just gone. The shell that held their soul is no longer holding their soul. And now they're here still with us, just in a different way. Spirit is always with us, and I definitely believe that. And I think that not a lot of people see that, or not a lot of people believe that, because they don't open themselves up to that. They don't see that everything happens for a reason. Because I see that everything happens for a reason, when I see like a bird fly by, I'm like, that is not just a coincidence. That is a sign. That is spirit being with me and showing me that they are with me. And the reason why I am who I am a happy person, I am a content person, I am a healthy person, because I went through heartbreak, and because my brother passed away. Since those happenings, I have turned into a healthy person, a happy person. And yes, I had to go through a lot of fucking pain, and still, you know, I do miss that physical presence of him, but I know that he's with me. And that's really beautiful, is that they're just always with you, and they're within you still. You can look within, and you can find that love within. I think the reason for people suffering is because we don't see that everything happens for a reason, and that we are on a divine, we are held by the divine, we are held by love, we are held within reason, and everything is happening to lead us on these different paths that will lead us to amazing places. And yes, sometimes you have to drive through a really fucking shitty storm to get to a really beautiful place, and that is what it is. And if you can't accept that it's raining, you're never gonna get through that storm. It's like when people are driving through a storm and they like pull on the side of the road, and it's like you're never gonna get out of that storm if you're just stopped on the side of the road. And it's gonna be so much harder to keep going once you've already stopped. If you just keep going and you keep pushing through these clouds and this pain, there is a fucking, like, the clouds will just break, and there is a rainbow, and there is life, and there is happiness, and there is health. And we need to believe that there is literally light at the end of the tunnel, and that we are going through all of these things so that we can be set up for better things. The pain that you're feeling right now is preparing you for what's ahead. Everything that you're experiencing is preparing you for the future. It's all happening with a divine reason. And if you don't believe that, then I believe that you are probably suffering right now. And I don't want you to suffer. I don't want any of you, I don't want any of us to suffer. I want us to all be on top of our thoughts and our life and what's happening. And I want us to all observe that, and I want us to all accept what we are going through. It's just crazy, like, how different your life becomes once you just accept what has already happened. This is your life, and for all we know, we could just get one life. And what is the point of suffering? There is no point. It does you no good. It's like you will get sick if you're stressed and if you're suffering. And we suffer because we're attached. We're attached to the past, and we're not in this moment, and we're not recognizing that we are where we should be. And it's really as simple as that. I've gone through immense amounts of pain, and it's all led me to this. And I'm so grateful because it's really humbled me. And I would never be the person I am without that. And we have to realize that. And it's like we have to take care of our pain like we would a child, and we have to hold it, and we say, pain, I'm here for you. And we have to realize that suffering isn't necessary, and we have to carry ourselves with love. We have to love ourselves, and we have to look at ourselves like we would nature. We can't be critical of ourselves or of our life. We are all perfect, and we are all divine, and that's amazing. We are all just like these mountains. Perfect, just the way we are. And all of that wind and all of that rain and everything that we're going through is carving us, it's creating us, it's taking us where we need to be. And once you realize that, I can assure you that you will be living a very happy life. You will not suffer anymore. And that's all I want for everybody watching this. Like, suffering is not necessary. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. Much love. Peace, blessings to you all.